basically. Let me share the PowerPoint first. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
All right. So today's session is about the Moodle quiz, and Moodle is, as we know, is basically an LMS learning management system in which we can actually share our course materials, can make quizzes, can do assessments, design a grade book, and everything. And today we are going to talk about the quiz only. So I'll just very briefly talk about the quizzes and their importance. So quiz is a method basically of direct assessment. Some assessment options, if we are taking, because, of course, when we are doing it on Moodle or we are doing it on paper, they are a little different from each other. Because what happens that when we are on Moodle, excuse me, because when we are on Moodle, basically it's online, and there are certain options which are available to us which are not available on paper, or maybe there are certain options on paper which are available to us which are not available on Moodle. So, for example, I would say that generally in multiple choice questions, MCQs, which are one of the most popular question, for example, we use this option of answers have all of these, or both A and B are correct. Now, this kind of answers will not be quite, I would say, good for having an MCQ on Moodle, but this will be fine on paper. So, what happens that designing a quiz on Moodle and designing a, I will say, quiz on paper would be pretty different. But there's the huge advantage of using Moodle, and that is that it's part, most of its part is auto check. I mean, you need not to check lots and lots of paper. So this is particularly good for the large classes if we can set the right time and the right options for an online quiz on Moodle. So I think that it is said that its use is a little reducing, but I think that we should also use it, particularly for large classes and for more easier and quicker assessment, because student will get the grade whenever the quiz finishes, and teacher will also get the grade just right there. So now, if we talk about quizzes and exams, there could be different types of quizzes and exams which are available on Moodle. For example, it could be open book, like you can share any material with that. It could be analytical type, like, for example, calculated fields could also be produced, some diagrams, different types of pathways could also be added to the quiz, and in very dynamic manner, I would say. And time is the, what's our second concern? That is basically cheating. Now, what happens that to prevent cheating, the best way that at least I found out, and many more colleagues discussed with them, is the time. If you set the time and give them time only to complete the quiz, and do not give them enough time for actually consulting each other, that's the best option for actually preventing the cheating in that. So, question type may vary from subject to subject. For example, suitable type could be selected. I think MCQs are used everywhere. Short questions could also be produced. For example, if I say that types of questions and assessment that are available in Moodle are MCQs, true, false, short questions, matching pairs, drag and drop, images or text, which could be good for chemistry, biology, and more science subjects. Essay type question could also be added, but of course that will not be auto checked, and we have to check that. Numerical questions for mathematics, stats, etc. may also be added. Now, a few options which are available in Moodle. If I simply elaborate on that, and then I'll go straight to the demonstration, live demonstration. For example, multiple choice questions on paper and online need to be different at times. Like both A and B are correct. It is used several times on paper. But what happens that in Moodle we can shuffle the options. For example, student A is not seeing the same options as the student B is seeing. So if A and B are correct as the option, that will make them, that will actually, I'll say, confuse the students. Question has to be very precise for this MCQ type. But the advantage is this, that this will be auto checked. You need not to check the quiz, and students will also get the feedback just right there after finishing it. Um, this is something I'll demonstrate, so I'll just skip this one. Then true false is another type of question that is used by like auto check. Like you can select the option which one is correct, true or false, and this will also be auto checked. Then short questions. Now short question on paper is actually different from Moodle. What happens in Moodle? In Moodle, short question means that answer of 1 to 2 words, and that will also be auto checked, because what happens that, and also we can also set it in a way that the capital letters also may matter or may not matter. So the short question in Moodle and short question on paper are actually different. Short question on paper could be an answer of 2-3 lines, but short question in Moodle is basically answer of 1 to 2 words, which are precisely checked. So now I would like to go to the live demonstration straight. So I stop the share of this and share my other screen. Okay, so is my screen shared?
Yes, ma'am. We can see your Moodle screen.
All right. So this is one of my courses. Now different people have different course layouts. I should start from beginning. So this is the layout of my course. My course is set according to the topics format. That is introduction, which has course outline and other things, then additional materials or whatever. If you see your screen, it may not look like this, but look like the weeks, week 1, week 2, week 3. So I am going to a topic that is exams. You can go to the week in which you want. So if you go to the particular week, you can create a quiz in that week. But I have topics format, so I will go to my topic where the exams are set. So first of all, I think most of you must have the training for Moodle, basic training. Is it so? But everyone has an idea of Moodle. Can I have the answers in the chat?
Yeah, please share your answers in the chat.
Okay. Okay. So it means that majority have an idea of Moodle. So I need not to go to the detail. So whenever you go to the course, you have to straight go to this option of settings. Go to turn editing on. Okay, so this means that our editing is on. So now you can go to the week you want to add your quiz in, and I will go to the topic in which I want to add. So this is my topic of exams. Now I go to add an activity or a resource. Here you can see various options are available, assignments, attendance, and things like that. I will straight go to the quiz. Here the quiz details are that what a quiz is. If you want to see the details that what should be there in a quiz, you can read this by yourself. Then we have to go to the add button here. Now we are on the quiz setup page. So we simply name the quiz. You can see this, but this red colored point here, circle here, it says that this field is a must. You have to add something here. So I name the quiz here, like quiz. Here I can describe anything. If I want to describe something about my quiz, like for example, syllabus, or maybe the pattern, or marks, so that student have an idea that what's going on. Weightage, or anything else that I want. And then if I want to write something here, I have to click this, check this box which says display description on the course page. When you check this, students will see all of this information right there on the course page. Otherwise, if you do not check this, then what will happen when they click on the quiz 2, they will go to that information. Now, next thing that we have to set is the timing. So we, first of all, if we want to set that date and time, actually we have to enable these two options of open the quiz. Second is close the quiz. We can also assign a particular time limit there. Like the students, if we check this one, the time limit, then what will happen? That students will see the timer. Yeah, so for example, I say it's 9th October. I set the time to 14. 2:30, and when this will be closed. This is also very important. If this is like, for example, MCQ is only 10 MCQ or something, that I would like to set time of like 15 minutes or so, depending upon the answers I want. I mean, depending upon the how much I would say minimum time they require for solving the problems, right? So I can set the time first of all. Now, if I want to set timer here, I can set the timer also. Students will see this time on one of the sides, generally in the right panel. Now, what happens when the time expires? I always select this open attempts are automatically submitted, because what happens, the students sometimes forget to press the button of submit, though they have done with the quiz. So what happens that if we select this one, whenever the time finishes, their attempt will automatically be submitted. But you can also go for other options, that there is a grace period when open attempts could be submitted. You can also say that attempts have to be submitted before time expires, or they will not be counted, because then they will not be graded. But it's teacher's choice, whatever you want to select. So this is about the timings. Next is grade. So how many attempts you want to allow them? Here you can see unlimited. What happens that if you allow them that within this time period, they can attempt it again and again. And how the which grade will be counted? Say highest grade, average grade, the first attempt or the last attempt. It's your choice that you want to select in which attempt they get the highest grade will be counted, or grade could be averaged, or first attempt will be counted or the last attempt will be counted. It's your total choice. But generally we allow them one attempt, maybe two attempts. It's our total choice. I select, for example, one. Now, how we have to actually talk about the grades. This is a uncategorized, because in this grade, I have three categories. I can select, for example, this is my quiz. If I assign it to quizzes, then the grade which is here will be counted in quiz category of my grade. So this is how we can assign category. And before that, we have to make categories in the grade book, and I hope you will cover that part in the grade book session when it has happened. Maybe it is already done. I'm not sure, or maybe it may be done in the future. So when I have the categories, I can assign it to any category. For example, I say post midterm quizzes. I say pre midterm quizzes. I may have more than one categories. So I assign it to quizzes. These marks, the grade from this quiz will be counted into this category. It may be pre midterm, post midterm. You have to make different categories in the grade book. Now, next is the layout. How it should look like. Like, do you want a new page every question, every two questions, every three questions? Or if you want to show all of the questions on one page, that they will see the whole of the quiz and they can attempt it. But I would suggest that one question, one time is always better, because they cannot go back to see the question again and again and try to ask here and there about them. They are looking at the question at the same time, just one question. And in that way, they are less distracted and do that. There are more options also. This is also a very important option, that is navigation. Now, free navigation here is selected. Now, free navigation precisely means that they can actually shuffle between the questions. They can jump from question 1 to question 9 and then can come back. We can also make it sequential. Sequential means that they cannot go back For example, when they have done the question one and they are not now on question two, they cannot go back to the question number one. When they go on three, they cannot go back to two and one. So it is sequential. This is always better if we do not want to actually give them more options for copying and discussing and things like that. So we can make it sequential, or if we are comfortable with them with moving between the shuffling between the questions, we can give them free navigation. Now the question behavior. Well, should we shuffle the questions? Yes or no? Do we want the questions to be just in a sequence? We can select no. We want the questions will be shuffled. For example, student A is seeing another set of questions while another set mean another sequence of the questions, and student B is seeing another. So their questions do not match. This is also a good method of preventing the cheating. Now, how questions will behave? We say it's a deferred feedback. Deferred feedback means that they will not get feedback right away. The feedback of the question, whether it's the correct or not, answer is correct or not, they will see it later. Okay, so this is a good option. Another very important option is review. Now, how they can review their answers. So immediately after the attempt, because now one more thing, let me just go a little back. Because I have selected deferred feedback, this first option that during the attempt, they cannot see marks, attempt, whether the answer is correct, any feedback or not. If I select no here, then I will see these things on. Which thing they can see? Can they see the marks? Can they see the feedback or what? Now, second thing. Now, immediately after the attempt, whenever they have done the attempt, submitted it, what they can see? I think that if the quiz is still open, we should select this. This is the better thing. They can see their marks, but they cannot see that which answer was correct and which was not. Sometimes we can also uncheck this, that they will see everything just after the quiz is closed. So it's our choice. Second thing, later, while the quiz is still open, but the student have submitted the quiz. Okay. What could be done? Same thing, I will say they can see the marks. After the quiz is closed, this is also again teacher's choice. Do you want to show them the answers? You can just simply check the attempt and all things will be. They can see which answer is correct, which answer is not correct. If there's a feedback on correct or incorrect answer, they can also see everything. So they can review the quiz after the quiz is closed. So no one can reattempt it. This is also important. If we uncheck all of these, this is the best way to prevent the copying, cheating, and things like that. Now you can apply extra restrictions on the attempt. This is also important. It requires a password. Now, what will happen when you are giving it online? There is another problem that arises. Some students will quietly do it outside the. If you are not taking the right attendance, you are not, on a paper or something. They will attempt this outside the class, maybe from home, maybe from hostel outside. This is a good way that you put a password on the quiz, so and you can announce that password right there in the class. So all those who are sitting at home and another place will not be able to do that. So this is another one, another option that we can use. We can select any password and carry them the on time. Now, one more thing about common module settings, that when we are making the quiz, when we are in a process of designing it, sometimes we do not want students to see its details. So we can also select this option, availability, that hide from the students, that we can see the quiz, we can edit and do everything, but students cannot see it. We can also select this option if we want it, or if we show on the course page, this will be available on the course page. Now we say save and display. Now we can see it almost like this. The quiz name, its details, how many attempts are allowed, what will be the date and time for the quiz, when it will start and when it will close, and time limit is this many minutes. Now next thing is that we add the questions. Here we have to go to the edit quiz option. Now here we can decide the marks, what's the maximum grade, And we can select the shuffle button, preferably if you want to shuffle the questions. Like for example, different students will see a different sequence of the questions. Okay. Now we can save this setting. There's a save button here. You can see where my cursor is. You save it, this will be saved. Now we can add the questions. That's one of them. Now there you can see there are two options: a new question or from a question bank. If we have a question bank, then we can also add any type of questions. So question bank could be generated, like for example, we have to make it in particular kind of formats like gift format or Moodle XML format. If we are comfortable with those, we can use the question bank option. Right now I talk about this new question first. So you can see a list of questions here: multiple choice, true false, matching pair, short answer, numerical, essay, calculator. There are so many options that could be explored, but because of course we have a limited time, I'll talk about a few. So multiple choice, which is the most popular and common question. You select this, and here's the add button. You go to this add button. Now here one more important thing is this. This is very relevant to the question bank, and people generally get trouble with that. Here you can see this is a default for this particular course, which already have 19 questions inside. Okay. Now I want to select it to only this quiz category, because if I want to download it later, I want to export or import it, sorry, export it, then at that time I'll be needing a particular category. Otherwise, all the questions in the course will be downloaded. So I will open this and I will select this one is this one say quiz 2, default for quiz 2. So this question belong to quiz 2. Or we can select any other category if we have designed the categories already. So if I save here, then whenever I have to export this whole quiz, I will have a list of all the questions, like 10 questions here, and I can export only those questions, and I will not have to see all the questions and check them and then add them to the question bank. So for example, question name could be, if I want to give question 1, I add any question text like, I do not want to waste time in typing, so I just simply say this. Now the marks, what are the default marks is generally 1 MCQs, but we can also give more marks if we want to. Now one answer is correct. Generally we have one answer correct. If we have more than one, we can say multiple answers are allowed. Shuffle the choices. This is also important. Now what happens that questions will be shuffled, definitely. But if we check this option, then what happens that the options will also be shuffled. For example, students number 1 will see the options like A, B, C, D. And student number 2 will see B, C, D, A. So the sequence of the answers will also be different. So here we can type our answers, and we have to select that what grade it is going to get. Like if only one choice is correct, then, sorry, if only one choice is correct, then we have to go to 100%. 100%. It means that this whole 1 mark will go to the, if the student select this choice, to this choice. If we have multiple answers correct, then we have to decide that 50% will go to the first choice, and 50% remaining will go to another choice, and like that. And students will also have to select the multiple answers. Then we have to give the other choices, like we say choice number 2, choice number 3, and choice 4, or how many choices. It depends all upon us that how many choices we want to give them. You can see that normally 5 choices are added, but we can also add more if we want to see blanks for 3 more choices. If we want to give more choices, we can select this. And this feedback is also sometimes, it could be kind of motivational. If we want the students to see the grade right away, or see the feedback right away, we can say, for example, we say feedback is correct. So student, if they select this choice, then they'll be graded by 1 mark, and also they will see this just right in front of them, that correct, your choice was correct. or you say hurrah or hooray. You can see different types of options in different types of online quizzes if you want. But this is something if we want them to just see the answer right away. So if it's our choice if you want to select this, just to motivate them. Say save changes, and we see this. Now, if we want to preview that how the students will see it, we can see it in this way that we can edit it. How the student will see it, we can go to this lens which says plus. It is basically student will see it like this, and they will have to select the correct choice and then submit and finish button. Just this is how you can add different questions, like for example, true false. I now just will go quickly, not demonstrate the whole thing. So here we can say like here we can write down. Sorry, here we can write down any statement, whether it's correct or not. And here we'll decide the marks, 1, 2, whatever you want. And then we'll select that will the correct answer is false or true. And then again save changes. If you want to allow the multiple tries, then we have to, what will be the penalty for incorrect answers? Only 1 mark. So if we want to have like 2 or 3 marks, we can give them multiple tries and can make a penalty like of 1 mark every time. Now we have to save, press save button to save all this. And we can select different types of questions according to our requirement. Now, if we want to add a question from question bank, then we should have basically something in our question bank. For example, because I have selected this quiz to default, a category, I will have only 2 questions because I have added those. But if I select the category, for example, it's default, there are 19 questions in it. I can select this. This will show all the questions which are there in this category. Now I can select the questions that I want to add to this one. I say I want to add these 5 questions. Now, after that, I have to go to the base exactly at the end. We can say add selected questions to the quiz. These questions are set already in Moodle gift format. You have to use gift format or XML format. Yeah. Now, these questions you can see are added. These are the first ones that I have added. These are added from the question bank. Now, if I save this, I can see. Now, if I go back to this option on the top here, my cursor is say quiz 2. I will see something like this. Now, if I want to view this, preview this, that how it looks like, I have to go this settings button and go to the preview. Here, preview. If I go to the preview, I can start the attempt because this is just preview. This will not be graded in that way. So this is how students will see it. The question. Here is this navigation, and here is the time, which is that. Whenever I am done with my analysis, I could do finish attempt. It will ask me to submit all my answers. I say submit all and finish, and students will also have to do the same. So this is about basically the basic options of designing the quizzes in Moodle. And now, if anyone have questions and any problems, our discussion regarding the quiz is open for discussion. And one more thing, the last thing I think I forgot. Whenever you finish with it, you can see all these buttons, this edit buttons. You have to go back to the settings and turn the editing off. Sometimes what happens that if you do not turn the editing off, students cannot see the changes that we have made last time. because those are not saved. So preferably, you always turn the editing off when you are done. Do not leave it on turn editing on, because sometimes what happens that Moodle do not update it automatically. Sometimes it is done, sometimes it's not done. So if we turn it off, students can see our all last changes. Uh, Thank you for your listening.
Thank
And
you so much, Dr. Sabha. We have a question from Ms. Zara Masood. Ms. Zara, you're requested to please mention your department as well and rename your account. She's asking, what if a student accidentally quits the quiz without attempting all questions?
what happens that until the quiz is available, they can access it again. If you, but to my understanding,
You're all requested
sometimes
to. Yes, ma'am.
yes, I would say that preferably, they should be given more guidelines that they should not close it. But sometimes it accidentally may happen that, like for example, if internet is off, there is a possibility when they open it again. Then of course the same page will not come, and they have to start the attempt. But if the time is open, they can actually make this attempt. But if they have pressed the button of submit all and finished, then they will not be able to do it again. If it is closed accidentally, like window is closed, like internet is off, then there is a possibility that this will happen. But if they press the submit and finish all, because it also asks for a confirmation, right? You have seen that I have shown you that you press the submit all and finish. It will ask for a confirmation. If the student confirmed it again, then they will not be able to access it again. But if they have accidentally closed the window, or they have internet is gone and that is not submitted, then within the particular due time they can do it again. So that sounds.
Thank you, Dr. Sabha. I see that only 18 out of 35 have responded to the polling. You're all requested to please do that, respond to the polling. And if you have any questions or comments, you can mention them in the chat box.
Yes, I can
Uh,
also see Sanu has opened ChatGPT
yes,
Gemini in here their second browser. Copy paste content from the quiz and get it right how to well. This is a problem that will of course definitely arise. And to prevent this, we can we can go to the computer lab and ask them, just like in the case of we have these English tests, so they actually stop all the other software from working. So this is also possible in that way, if you could do that in computer lab. But if they're doing it on their own laptop or something, it's really difficult, because this much policing doing on them is really difficult, because there's a big class and everyone is using the device. But if it is done in a computer lab, they do have that option that they could use only one minute.
thank you, Dr. Sabha. Do we have any questions or comments for the expert? So please mention them in the chat box. And you are all requested to subscribe to the CLT YouTube channel. We will be uploading these videos there. And coming up, we have our Moodle, we have basic rubrics on Monday. And you were also requested to join Monday, 14th of October. The timing will be the same, 1 to 2, and Dr. Daniel Lanz is the expert. So, do we have any other? Yes, we have from Sir Abid Naeem. He says that is there any opinion that a student while attempting the quiz cannot switch to another page?
Well, they cannot switch to another place in Moodle, but they cannot switch to another page. Is we try that option in the JavaScript, but this is I have used it myself, but student can access the other page. It says that the whole thing will come on one screen, but in actuality, it doesn't happen. Student can open the other pages. There's an option I can show you, but it doesn't work. So I didn't mention it because later on people say that you said that this will, work, but it doesn't. So right now Really don't have anything to control them in that way, except for that we are in a computer lab, and it is set in a way that it is set in generally that English test or math test. In that way we can control them. We have to actually design the questions in a way and do not give them time. This is the most important thing. That time, I have seen myself in a personal experience, is this, that if we give them very limited time in which they do not have time to actually talk to others and they can hardly finish their own work, this is the best way to prevent from cheating and copying. And it works very well because I keep trying. In my every course, I try at least one quiz to be on that.
I'm going. Thank you so much, Dr. Sabha, for agreeing to be the expert and for this wonderful session. We don't have any more questions or comments, so we'll end it here. And thank you once again. Thank you, Dr. Deal. He says that thanks, Dr. Sabha, wonderful session. That's the last
Thank you
comment.
so much.
So we'll end it here. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you everyone
Bye.
for bearing with me.